Once upon a time, in a quiet suburban town, lived a couple named Ethan and Chloe. They had a beautiful home, two wonderful children, and a golden retriever that completed their family portrait. Chloe, a talented graphic designer, had put her career on hold to raise their children, a choice she had made willingly, or so it seemed. The vibrant, ambitious woman she once was felt like a distant memory, replaced by a persona defined by PTA meetings and grocery lists. He saw that comfortable life, not as a cage, but as a fortress he had painstakingly built to protect them. He worked long hours, driven by a desire to provide, believing his hard work was the ultimate expression of his love. He didn't notice the growing distance in Chloe's eyes, or the way her smiles no longer quite reached them. The change began with a high school reunion. Chloe was hesitant to go. It felt like a confrontation with a past self, a ghost of unfulfilled potential. And that's where she saw him. Leo. Her high school sweetheart, the one who got away. They talked for hours, a magnetic pull drawing them together. Leo spoke of adventures and spontaneity, of waking up in a new city every month. His life was everything, hers was not. Unpredictable, free, and utterly her own. When he looked at her, he didn't see a mother or a wife. He saw Chloe, the girl with paint-stained fingers and a wild heart. That night, something dormant inside her awakened. A longing for excitement, for desire, for a life less ordinary. It started with innocent text messages. Ethan noticed she was on her phone more, but he trusted her. He even felt a little happy for her, thinking she was finding a new hobby. He was a man who saw the world in black and white, and in his world, Chloe was his, and he was hers. Forever. The first secret meeting was for coffee. It felt illicit, dangerous, and thrilling. They sat in a bustling cafe, their knees almost touching, the air crackling with unspoken tension. She forgot the stretch marks and the tired lines around her eyes. She felt like the girl in the art class again, the one with endless possibilities. The coffee dates turned into lunches, the lunches into clandestine afternoons in city hotels. With Leo, Chloe felt alive, reckless, and free. He filled a void she hadn't even known was so vast. She was no longer just a wife and mother. She was a woman with her own secrets, her own desires, her own separate life. But secrets, like shadows, cannot exist without light. The deception began to take its toll. Chloe became irritable and distant at home. The guilt was no longer a dull ache. It was a sharp, stabbing pain that kept her awake at night. She was living two lives, and the strain was breaking her. She'd look at Ethan, his kind, unsuspecting face, and a wave of self-loathing would wash over her. Then, a text from Leo would buzz on her phone, and the intoxicating pool would start all over again. Ethan wasn't blind. Who's thrusting? But even the most trusting heart can sense a fundamental shift. He started to notice the small things, the way Chloe guarded her phone, the vague explanations for her long shopping trips, the scent of a different man's cologne faintly clinging to her scarf one evening. He tried to talk to her, to ask if something was wrong. "I'm just tired," she lied, the words tasting like ash in her mouth. The breaking point came on their 11th anniversary. Ethan had planned a surprise. He'd booked a weekend at the coastal inn where he had proposed. He'd arranged for his parents to watch the children and filled the car with her favorite snacks. He presented the plan to her with a hopeful smile, expecting to see a spark of the old Chloe. Instead, he saw panic. "I can't," she said, her voice strained. I have a freelance project, a big deadline." Through her sobs, the whole story came out. Leo, the reunion, the affair, everything. Each word was a blow to Ethan. He listened in silence, his face a mask of disbelief that slowly hardened into heartbreak. The woman he loved, the mother of his children, the person he had built his entire world around, had shattered it with a casualness that was incomprehensible. The fortress he had built to protect them had been breached, not by an outside force, but by a betrayal from within. The aftermath was a wasteland. The silence in their beautiful home was deafening, punctuated only by the sounds of quiet weeping. They were strangers living under the same roof, orbiting each other like ghosts. Ethan moved into the guest room. He looked at Chloe and saw not the woman he had loved for over a decade, but a stranger who had lied to his face every single day. The trust, the very foundation of their marriage, was gone. It hadn't just been cracked. It had been pulverized into dust. They tried therapy, but the chasm between them was too wide to bridge. Chloe, stripped of the illicit thrill of the affair, was left confronting the real consequences of her actions. She saw the pain in her children's eyes as they sensed the tension, the way Ethan flinched if her hand brushed his. Leo, the catalyst for it all, faded into the background. His texts became less frequent. The fantasy couldn't survive the harsh reality of a broken home. He was a traveler, after all, and this was wreckage he had no interest in salvaging. He simply moved on to his next adventure, leaving Chloe alone in the ruins she had created. In the end, there was nothing left to save. The divorce was finalized a year later. The house was sold. The family portrait was torn in two. Ethan, though deeply wounded, focused on his children, rebuilding a new, smaller, but honest life for them. His heart was scarred, but he found a quiet strength in his role as a father. Chloe was left adrift,